In today's video, we're going to set up Gravity Forms, Zapier, and Monday.com so we can fuse Gravity Forms submissions, sending that data over to Monday.com. So if you're using Monday.com to track your sales, your leads, other important workflows in your organization, Monday.com does a lot. We'll show you how to send that information from Gravity Forms using Zapier as the glue to make that connection. Let's dive right in. Okay, we're going to start from scratch here. I have Gravity Forms installed, and the first thing we'll do is install and activate the Zapier add-on. I already have it installed and activated. You can see right here, it is active. Two things that you need to be aware of before we go any further. Number one, works a little bit different than most add-ons with Gravity Forms. You're not going to an individual Gravity Form and setting up all the connections inside of WordPress. You're going to do all of that over on Zapier. We're going to get to that in a moment. But what it does use, if we go to Gravity Forms settings and then the REST API, is it uses the Gravity Forms REST API keys to make that connection. We're going to get there in a moment, but I'm just going to let you know that it works slightly different than most Gravity Forms add-ons if you've experienced other add-ons before. Same thing with Monday.com. What we're going to need is under our account and developer's profile, we'll need our API token. And just like we need the API token from Gravity Forms and WordPress, we need the API token from Monday.com. We give both of those to Zapier, and that's what's going to help make that connection. It's what's going to allow both of these platforms to talk to one another. Okay, let's go into Zapier. If you've never seen any of this stuff before, you can set up a free Zapier account. It's the glue that helps connect applications across the internet, so we can make our Gravity Forms talk to Monday.com using Zapier as the intermediary. Okay, so let's go create a new Zap. We will create a new Zap, and I'm not going to use the AI feature because it's kind of slow, and we only have two very simple steps here. So we're going to start with selecting Gravity Forms, and we'll just search for Monday.com, and that's it. This is our sort of canvas that we're going to play with here. It's what happens in Gravity Forms, and then how do we send that to Monday.com. So let's click back to the Gravity Forms node here, and the trigger event will be a form submission, and the account will be a new one that we set up. So let's create a new account, and this is sort of that differentiator that I was mentioning before. We give the site name, we give the API keys, and that's what makes that connection. So let me go into my WordPress site. We're going to create a new key here, call it Zapier Demo. We need to give it read and write permissions. It needs to read information from Zapier, it needs to write information to Zapier, so we're going to click Add. Now you do need to put these down in safekeeping. I'm going to delete these keys when this video is done anyway, but I would recommend using something like a password manager that has like a storage vault where you can save this kind of stuff. So I'm going to copy the consumer key, paste that in there, and I'm going to copy the consumer secret, paste that in there, in my demo site URL, and then yes, continue to Gravity Forms. So we'll close that for now. We have our Zapier demo created right there. Go back to Zapier, and let's just test this out. We're going to click continue, and you'll see right here I have one form right now in my WordPress site. It's called test. We're going to make a new one in a moment, but we're just going to make sure. I just wanted to make sure that that was connected and we're good to go. Let's go to Monday.com and set this up. Here you have the actions. What we're going to do is create an item. So what we'll do is create item, and then the account will sign in. Now, we already have it open, so let's go and copy this API token, come back into Zapier, paste that into Monday.com field, give that a second, go back to Zapier. Now we should have it. There it is, Matt Medeiros at Rocket Genius. So that's connected. So all things are connected. And the thing we were going to want to do, like I said before, was create an item, and then we'll hit continue. Now, I do want to change the form. So let's go back to Gravity Forms. And I don't want this test form. I want to create a new form so you can see it from scratch. So let's go to Forms, Add New, and let's just call this one, I do want to keep it simple because I don't want to get things too complicated. Use template. And I'm going to make this, I'm just going to take that off. So that's the way it's easier for me to demo. And then what we'll do is put in we'll pretend this is a sort of lead generating form. And we'll say, what's your budget? Edit choices. We'll say below 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000. And then we'll just do the famous 10,000 plus. And that'll be our 3 options for now. Save that. And we'll put this on a page called Monday Test. We'll create this page and we'll publish this. View the page. There's our form. We're pretending that this is a lead generating form. You're an agency, you're a construction company, you're setting this up for a client that requires a budget. The point is like, this is a valuable form and we need to get that data into Monday.com. So let's go back to Monday. Let's create a new board so that we can like really test out. So let's go Template Center, Sales and CRM. Monday.com has a ton of templates. So let's just go with Contact as the most simple. We'll use this template. Just use it as is for right now. It's going to take a moment. It's going to build that out. And we have just a simple CRM type system. And the contacts board has your typical stuff that you need for, keeping track of contacts, name, title, company, contact information, etc. So we're going to roll with that for right now. And what I'll do is I do like the idea of company. So let me go back to our form and add in a text field for company name. I won't make it required. We'll save that form. That way we can collect that and show it going over. Let's refresh this form. So now we have it, company name. So we have our real crude, real basic lead generating form. Now back in Zapier, we're going to refresh this list. That's just going to go and fetch more up-to-date information. Let me refresh results because it didn't seem to work right there. There it is. So there's the Monday form that we just made. And we'll call this Monday lead form and then click continue. So now it's made the connection to that form. We've identified the new one. It needs to test it again. So let's test that trigger. We found records in your Gravity Forms account. We'll load up to 3 of the most recent. It only has the test one that it just ran. So we're going to continue with selected records. Action event will be item, and we will create the item on this account. Click continue. Now it's going to prompt me to ask which board do you want to connect to. That board is what we just made right here, this contacts board. So let's go back to Zapier. We want this contacts board. Group ID, I'm just going to leave everything sort of default here. I'm going to start filling in the things that make the most sense, like the item name is going to be the name of the contact that just submitted the form. And as you can see, Zapier, what it'll do is it'll go through all of the fields available, even the hidden fields and the admin fields of your Gravity form, if you want to pull that information in, things like source URL, user IP, that kind of thing. That way, if you're building something that's, a real critical lead analyzing tool, you might, and you have forms across your entire WordPress site, you might want to identify what source URL they came from, geographics and all this other stuff, right? So name, and then we'll go company, and that's the field that we just added at the last moment there. So we'll just find it on this list. You can also search for it. So I can go company, find that right there, put that in. Priority is going to be low. Now that's something that is set on the Monday.com side with their priority drop down here. So it's up to you in this case to say, what's the priority of this lead coming in? Is this high of all leads high priority, or do you set them low, or do you come up with a new nomenclature for that priority, like a fresh lead or something like that? Totally up to you. We didn't collect the phone number, but that's okay. Email, we're going to pull in the email field. Next interaction, we're going to leave that blank, and then the notes, what we'll do is put in the budget. Let me search. What's your budget? And then we'll also put in, what do we call this field? The comments field. And we'll put in the comments field. And I think I should be able to just put my mouse right there and put these on 2 separate lines. I don't know if that'll be formatted that way when it saves it, but sounds good on paper. So we'll test the step. And this will scan through all of those fields, the connection to Gravity Forms, the connection to Monday.com. It found an item that was sent to Monday.com. I'm going to hit publish, and publish is going to make this Zap active. That way we can actually test it on the WordPress site. Let's just click on this drop down, rename this to Monday Leads. And if we go to our CRM, there it is. That's the test information that just went right through Mr. Bilbo Baggins with all of the test information that the system filled out for us. So now if we go to our live form, and we go Matt Medeiros, matt@gravityforms.com. If I can spell. Company name, Gravity Forms. Budget, let's give it the old 10,000 plus. This is just a test to Monday through Zapier. We'll submit. So the form went through on the WordPress side. So now let's go ahead and check out the Monday.com side and refresh. And there it is. There's the Matt Medeiros form that just went through. We can expand this a little bit more and we can see our contact information. Let's just get that on this side. And you can see $10,000 as the budget. This is just a test to Monday through Zapier, which is the information that I put inside of the form. I could format this. I did notice that it did add this to a second line. If you wanted to clean things up, I could preface this by just editing this Zap. And I could go in and put something like budget, make my own labels, basically. I'll call this customer notes. Right, and I can just put my own little title there. That way it's just formatted a little better when somebody goes, and fills out that form. So that way it's just a little bit cleaner to read in your CRM instead of just, this all mashed in together. As you hire more people, get people on the team, they can understand the content and that kind of thing. So, or you could put it on its own individual fields. I could take the budget and add that budget to its own column here and assign that. That way folks can actually sort by budget that has been entered. So sky's the limit. The point is Zapier helps you glue Gravity Forms to Monday.com so you can really power up your website sending data or information to Monday.com. Not just for public facing lead stuff. If you're using Gravity Forms as intranet or some kind of in-house app to do different things and send information from some sites to another, it's a very powerful tool once you connect all this stuff up to Zapier and then send it out to any app that Zapier supports. Really cool stuff. Monday.com is really popular and you can do a lot with it, as we just mentioned. But Zapier, very easy. Connect it up, add the add-on into your WordPress site with Gravity Forms, create those API keys, get the API key from Monday.com, wire everything up in Zapier like we just mentioned. It's just 2 little steps. You can branch this off to do much more complex stuff if you wanted to, but you can see right here, just 2 Zapier steps will get us talking to Monday.com. Thanks for watching today's video. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. You got questions below. How do you use Zapier? How do you use Monday? Or do you have more intense use cases you want us to cover? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.